of the things that I see in great CEOs like Dana is they are a visionary. And Dana obviously rolled the dice and started Hemling years ago and has created a company that is wildly successful. So I want to ask her a question. Let's go back in the time machine and look at Hemling, the original vision, and also then talk about where the vision is today in 2023, because I'm going to guess it's different. So Dana, congratulations. Where were you? Where are you? Where are we going? What's going on with Hemling?
Yeah, so great question, Michael. One, I would say like the overall vision, or I would say mission, has stayed the same, but how we have addressed it and been able to provide it has strongly been impacted by our customers.
Oh.
So we have really had our customers, by listening to them every day, build it. And we might not build what they wanted us to build, but we take their pain point and figure out how to solve it. So when we started Hemling, really
And what year was that? Sorry.
that was back in 2018. Okay. Although we did do credit and background checks starting in 2016, and then kind of expanded the vision to be much greater thereafter.
Okay.
And it started with just saying we want to basically reinvent property management for the everyday person. And what I mean by reinvent is the biggest thing we didn't want to do is just put technology onto the existing industry.
Right.
I have never seen a company layer technology on an existing industry and it to change anything. It does help with efficiency.
Yeah.
It does help with transparency, but it doesn't actually change things dramatically. And so the reinventing was, we need to think about this differently. That was the first thing. And then the other thing we strongly felt that was really strong and basically the DNA of Hemling is for the everyday person. Mm-hmm. What we've seen with a lot of tech companies, and especially some that you see in the news of, they've raised this amount of money and that amount of money, is they end up going institutional or upmarket, where they say, great, in order to grow in the early days, we're going to sign a couple of really big deals. Right. And that's going to make our revenue look great. However, for us, we know that over 70% of the market are the smaller mom and pop.
Right.
We also know the tenants living in these properties are folks that are living paycheck to paycheck or have, other needs. And so we wanted to build something that was for the mass market. And that's what we meant by the everyday person, us being able to relate to people and get on their level and say, hey, technology can help you. And on both sides, because for us, the property manager, it's very interesting. There's a very negative stigma and connotation when you hear the word landlord. Mm-hmm. You think slumlord. You hear that from the tenant side. You also hear landlords say, with my tenants, they just don't understand me. And so really the goal was to say, how do we change that mindset? And, there are very similar examples of companies that you've heard of, staples that have changed industries like that. Taxis were one of them, where there was a negative connotation with taxis. And now that you have Uber and what they call a personal concierge, or a personal chauffeur, suddenly that changed. And so that was basically the mission with Hemling, and that's very much still the mission. And we talk about that. And the reason it's important to talk about it is we do have deals that come to us where they say, I have 1,000 rental properties and I want to use Hemling. And we always go back to, okay, if we take that person on, what happens? Are our product priorities going to change? Suddenly we're not helping the mass market, the everyday person. And so it's really important, I think, to stick with that. However, how you tackle it changes over time. That is where, a lot of testing goes into products. And where we are today is definitely not where we started. But what I would say is today we say with the vision and mission, it's to do the entire rental life cycle. An owner can be anywhere and have full transparency into what is happening with their rental properties at any time, with Hemling as their basically platform to help them get there. How they do that depends on what their needs are. They might need a local licensed agent. They may need just, lockbox technology. They may need a full repair coordinator, or maybe they can coordinate it on their own, but they have control over their assets and can see it. Now, here's the more important thing. What we have also found with investors is they want to be more passive. Mm-hmm. And actually, it's interesting, even these DIYers we found want to actually be more passive. They don't want to pay extraordinary amounts for it, but they do want to be more passive. And they actually want insights before they've even figured it out.
Yes.
And so some examples of that is today that's very prevalent or will be in the upcoming years is, when's the best time to refinance my mortgage and how? Should I be raising rent or not? Should I be buying more properties? How is my asset performing against others in the area? All of those questions come up subconsciously. But what's interesting is when you talk to investors, they actually don't take actions on them. It's not their fault. A lot of them are working jobs, they have kids at home, they have a lot going on. And so for us, it's taking it to the next level as the next step of saying, how do you actually think about the asset management side of things? How do you protect the home? How do you help them understand how their portfolio is performing? How do you help their portfolio perform better? And so that's basically the next stage of where we're going. And we do it almost subconsciously as a company because we're for the everyday person, where sometimes it's like, yeah, if this is where the rental rates are in your area, it's been vacant, but you're underwater, maybe it's time to sell or something like that, right? There's always, I mean, the devil's in the details, but subconsciously we do it not to get ourselves more revenue of keep it on here, but like, what's the best for you as an investor? And I think that next level of, okay, we've done the property management side. What are you looking at the asset management side is another one. And then playing into that is AI and everything else that goes into helping you get there.
I think that's amazing because when we've been doing these shows for well over a year now, and to see that your vision and mission really hasn't changed. It's for the mom and pop landlords, even though I'm sure when you get a phone call about 1,000 units or whatever, I'm sure it gives you pause for a minute. But you're so right, right? Having one of the largest deals I was a part of is we actually sold 9 figures to a tech company whose logo's a fruit. And of course, you can't say their name because of all these things, but their logo's a fruit. And they changed our entire product roadmap. They were the elephant, and they were very happy, but we really pigeonholed the product, and it wasn't good. It wasn't a wise move. It was kind of short-term good for long-term pain.
Yeah. And when you do that, then if you lose that customer, that big customer, you're like, wait, we've just spent years building for this 1 or 2 customers and not for who they call ICP, your ideal customer profile. Right. And we talk about ICP a lot of what is that ideal customer profile. And we go back to that. And I think it's always helpful to do that. And a company I admire a lot that has done that is actually Airbnb. Because there are institutionals, there are large players who use them. But if you look at the features, if you say, hey, can I mass upload like 150 properties, 1,000 at once? They say no.
Yeah.
We are a travel experience.
Right.
We are for people to experience others when they visit and stay in their guest bedroom and hear about the culture or whatever it may be. We're not here for large institutionals. We're here for the smaller player. And it's interesting because it's frustrating for those players, but because mass market is there, they have to actually change their processes in order to fit into what Airbnb does to list the properties. And so while they've made some slight tweaks to that, they've still really remained true to that. And I think it's very important to do that.
Yeah. I think you're doing great things. I know you're helping mom and pop landlords. I do agree with you. The DIYers want more passive. I think that is the beauty that Hemling brings. Even Dion, the lazy landlord, is using Hemling to help with his process to even be more lazy, which is just awesome. If somebody wanted to do a POC or a trial, where do we send them so they can just pretend or practice being a landlord?
Yeah, you can go to www.hemlane.com. And just click try for free and mention one rental at a time for 20% off your first year.
There you go. Dana, thank you so much.
Thanks.